words said in the aftermath are just too confusing. Now I spend my days watching you throw stones at someone who's already dead. And if this is the way we all begin, so how can I ask for any more?
Welcome to the final episode of the Stages of Minnesota of 2025. You see, unlike you and I, the last couple of weeks of December and the first couple of January are when theater people hibernate. It's a scientific fact. You see, they are on so much during the year that their bodies literally shut down for 2 to 4 weeks every year around this time. This isn't something theaters or theater people generally want you to know. And so the companies explain that they're closing shows at Christmas for everyone to have time to spend with their families. And then they need the first couple of weeks of January to rehearse before they open a new show. If you believe that, I've got a heavy-set man in a red suit with whiskers as white as snow tied up in my basement. For $200, I'll release him on December 24th. Parents and young children with bank accounts, if you're interested in ransoming Kris Kringle, you can email me at robdunkelberger@thestagesofmn.com. I know what you're thinking. He's not real. Is he real? Well, think about it. It's only $200. Isn't your peace of mind worth $200? Worst case scenario, you've secured the release of someone with a white beard and a red suit. Anyway, think about it. But don't take too long. Anyway, with all of the actors and directors and bears, oh my, nestled all snug in their beds with visions of Twin Cities Theater Blogger Awards being handed out in their heads, there's not a lot for the Stage of Minnesota to do. And maybe I'm becoming a bit of a theater person too, because I'm feeling a little snoozy myself. So, while the theater people are sleeping off another year of making magic, I'll be taking a little rest myself. But don't worry, I won't just be watching potential Oscar-winning movies and working on jigsaw puzzles with Mrs. The Stages of Minnesota, though I'm certainly going to do some of that. I've got some interviews in the can that I need to get edited. Hopefully, we'll get a few things shot, and plans are in the works for me to be joined by my fellow Twin Cities theater bloggers to announce our awards on the show in early 2026. Before I head downstairs and sort the edge pieces from the others, here's a few reviews of holiday-themed shows I encourage you to not give into the cold side of the force and make a last trip or two out to the theater before the theater people go to sleep. I always give trips to the theater to people on my Christmas list. We've made it a little tradition to take the aged P and other family members to the Mystery Cafe's new show each year. Sadly, this will be the last year for that tradition, as the Mystery Cafe is hanging up its shingle after it solves this year's final cases. If you've never been, I highly recommend getting to one of the performances during this final season. They are a blast, and you get a nice meal and the satisfaction of knowing you helped solve a crime. And it really is great for the whole family. They're filled with corny humor, the good kind though, where you laugh while you groan. But hey, feeling the pinch of inflation more than ever this year? The first review will be the perfect early Christmas present for those of you on a budget of $0. Whether it moves me to cheers or tears, puts me to sleep, or gets me up on my feet. These are my Minnesota Honest reviews. Truthful, but not hurtful. If you're looking for some outrageous holiday fun, Fortune's Fool Theater has you covered, with 2 hilarious pirate musicals running in repertoire. Yar, the Lusty Busty Pirate Musical, and its world premiere holiday sequel, Have Yourself a Lusty Busty Xmas. The first started as a Minnesota Fringe hit, and now, for the company's 20th anniversary, it's back along with its often promised sequel. And thanks to a grant, completely free. Yes, free pirate musicals. You're basically losing money not going. The cast of Ariel Pinkerton, Caitlin Sparks, and Winnie Froelich, and newcomer Oliver Hands play dozens of characters, sword fight across the stage, and dive into stories involving treasure maps, kidnapped tavern owners, Father Christmas in peril, and Jerry Mathers as the Beaver. Okay, that last part isn't true, but the Krampus does play a major role. The humor is big, the songs are fun, and the whole thing leans into that lovable fringe-style chaos, adult humor included. While there is certainly swashbuckling, there's also a lot of unbuckling going on as well. I'd say they were R-rated, so I recommend leaving the wee lasses and cabin boys at home with the scullery maid. The productions are wildly inventive, great costumes, clever props, accordion-driven music, and performances that absolutely commit to the ridiculousness in the best possible way. If you want a night of pure joy, bawdy jokes, and swashbuckling holiday spirit, this double feature is a blast. Both shows run through December 21st at the Hive Collaborative in St. Paul. Tickets are free, but reservations are smart. We'll link to Fortune Fools Theater in the show notes so you can make reservations. I recommend trying to attend one of the Saturday or Sunday performances where you can see each of the shows back to back. A Christmas Carol, more or less, at Yellow Tree Theater is definitely on the more side, and I mean that in the best way. When the entire cast and crew get snowed in, estranged couple Charlie and Sarah decide to perform the whole show themselves. Charlie isn't even supposed to be there, literally. But after some persuasion, the two dive into a chaotic, heartfelt two-person Christmas carol. This version is hilarious. Yes, but what surprised me is how warm and emotionally rich it becomes. Kate Bean is fantastic, game for anything, switching characters with wild accents and big comedic swings. Paul the Knave brings a grounded, touching arc as a man rediscovering why he fell in love with theater and Sarah in the first place. Together, they find genuine heart beneath all of the meta-comedy. It's funny, it's charming, and it's nearly sold out. So, if you want to catch it, don't wait. A Christmas Carol, more or less, runs through December 28th at Yellow Tree Theater in Osseo. Look in the show notes for a link to Yellow Tree Theater where you can snatch up any remaining seats. If you watched the holiday preview episode of the Stages of Minnesota show, you know I was very excited for Rollicking, a winter carnival musical at History Theater. And I'm happy to report it delivers on the fun. This world premiere by Keith Hovis and Rachel Teagle mixes the real story of Cap Wigington, St. Paul's first black municipal architect, and his strained marriage with Viola with a whimsical fantasy adventure inside the Winter Carnival realm. There's a lot happening in this show. Racial marginalization, that's as good as it's going to get, folks. Gender roles, carnival lore, native history, and a full-on magical portal. But honestly, most of it works. The standout invention, the gnomes. They pop up with hilarious bursts of History Theater-approved facts, and Elena Glass as Gned steals every moment she's in. Roland Hawkins II and Erin Nicole Farst anchor the show with strong performances, and the supporting cast shines, especially Tara Borman as Klondike Kate and Adrienne Zeminga January as Winuna. The songs are catchy and often surprisingly deep, with the Wild West and I'm Here being absolute highlights. Add in Joey Miller's choreography, Bryce Turgeon's delightful costumes, and wonderfully inventive set and lighting design, and you get a production bursting with energy. Is it for kids? Maybe. Adults will definitely enjoy it, and kids 12 plus who like musicals will have a great time. But keep in mind the emotional core is very much about a marriage trying to mend. Rollicking, a winter carnival musical, runs through December 21st at History Theater in St. Paul. We'll link to our friends at the History Theater in the show notes so you can get your tickets. A nice family Christmas. Honestly, it should be called a dysfunctional family Christmas, and I mean that as a compliment. This Minnesota set comedy at Lyric Arts is packed with chaotic relatives, awkward secrets, and about 237 inappropriate comments from Grandma. And it is hilarious. Beneath all of the madness, though, is exactly what you want from a holiday story. A little healing, a little forgiveness, and a little heart. The plot is simple. It's Christmas Eve, the grown kids come home. Grandma unexpectedly came up from Florida, and then the unwanted Uncle Bob crashes the party. What follows is a fast, funny unraveling of family drama that feels way too relatable. If you've ever had a chaotic holiday or a rogue relative, you'll see yourself in this show. The cast is fantastic. Kathleen Winters and Anthony Zadra steal scenes as Grandma and Uncle Bob. Patrick Kazicki is wonderful as Carl, the middle child and frustrated writer. And Lyricia Ghostlin Green brings depth to Stacy, the most underwritten role on paper. Sam Sweer and Waverly Ann McCullum are a riot as Michael and Jill, turning physical comedy into an art form. And Laurie Constable grounds the whole thing with a warm, pitch-perfect performance as Mom, the glue holding this circus together. Phil Olson's script delivers big laughs and just enough sweetness to leave you smiling. It's a genuinely fun night out, and yes, it made me wish I'd seen it with my own siblings. We would have laughed, we would have cried, we would have identified with much of it. A Nice Family Christmas runs through December 21st at Lyric Arts in Anoka. We'll do that thing in the show notes that makes it easy for you to go and buy tickets. All right, let's talk about A Christmas in Ochopee from New Native Theater, because this is not your standard holiday show. No snow, no carols, no turkey dinner. Instead, we're in the Florida Everglades with basketball bets, family chaos, and yes, an alligator. And honestly, the change of scenery is part of its shaggy, chaotic charm. We follow the Wheatley family on Christmas Day as everything falls apart at once. Dad has gambled money he doesn't yet have and is already earmarked for the family's Christmas present trip to Disney World on a basketball game. Donnie Boy gets released from prison because the arresting officer forgets to show up to court. Joseph hasn't told his family that the girl he's bringing home is his vegan fiancée, and she hasn't told him she's pregnant. Plus a Barney Fife cop and an asinine uncle. It's a Christmas meltdown, and it is very funny. The cast is a little uneven, but the standouts really shine, especially Benjamin Wilson as the dad and Mato Wayuni as Donnie Boy. And while there are definitely cultural jokes I'm sure I missed, the family dynamics are totally universal. It's chaotic, warm, and genuinely refreshing compared to the usual holiday lineup. A Christmas in Ochopee runs through December 21st at 825 Arts in St. Paul. We'll link to New Native Theater's website in the show notes so you can purchase tickets. If you can't make it, consider donating to support the largest Native-led nonprofit theater company in the country. More than ever, we need to support the telling of these stories.
Do I really have to go? Hard pressed to find a reason to brave the cold. So warm inside your cabin, give me just another moment. Wrapped inside the blanket of your body, the blanket of your body. Time to hit the open road. Loving arms await me, their domain knows me alone. Never a single question, 35 years full of holiday cheer, and still no invitation for my +1. But underneath this winter sky, I just can't seem to say goodbye.
That is a wrap on 2025 for the Stages of Minnesota. We'll be back in the new year once the theater people wake up. Remember, if they don't see the audience, they won't come out of their dressing rooms for 8 more weeks, and we'll have 7 more years of Trump. So let's hit theater hard in 2026. With everything they and we are facing, let's send a clear message that theater matters, that it raises us up and can speak truth to power. Theater companies and viewers with businesses to promote, if you want to sponsor an upcoming episode of The Stages of Minnesota, you can email me at robdunkelberger@thestagesofmn.com. I've been amazed at how many companies have been sponsors of the show since we launched with our first episode on June 18th, just 6 months ago. It really helps me to keep doing the show week after week. It's never going to pay for itself, but the support I get from sponsors helps tremendously. I do this to boost the signal of theaters and the people that make theater, to hopefully keep you, faithful viewers, in the know about the shows that are playing all over our beloved Minnesota, and occasionally Wisconsin, because, like a good neighbor, the Stages of Minnesota is there. Now is a good time, while we are on our holiday hiatus. If you have comments, questions, or suggestions of topics you'd like to see covered on the show, email me. Let me give you free shows. We are always accepting new members in the Stages of Minnesota +1 Club. Send me an email with your name and mobile number. When I have a +1 ticket available, I'll text the +1 Club members. And if you can make it, text me back directly. No group text replies. And if the thought of that is keeping you from joining, let me assure you, no one has replied to the group text yet. And if someone does, I'll tie them up and put them in the basement with you-know-who. The first person to reply to me directly gets to see a show for free with me. Sometimes it's something at a small theater like the Hive or the Crane Theater that you might not have even been aware of. And sometimes it's really nice seats for a Broadway tour at the Orpheum. You never know what will come up for grabs. We'll link to all the things we reviewed on this episode in the show notes. Whether you get out to a show or not during this time of giving, please consider making a donation to fund the future of your favorite theater companies. The show is done for the year, but that doesn't mean I am. I'll be seeing a few more shows yet over the next couple of weeks, and you can read those reviews as you can the full reviews of all the shows I see on my blog at thestagesofmn.com. If you see me out at a show or Christmas shopping or trying to get my tongue unstuck from a street lamp, don't be shy, say hi. Let's get a photo together and put you on the Stages of Minnesota. Thanks as always to Ryan Lee for the generous use of his music. Every note of music used on the Stages of Minnesota comes from his albums, which you can find at ryanlee.bandcamp.com. Whether you're watching the YouTube edition or listening to the podcast version, please help spread the word. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share, and review the show. While you're waiting for my return, why not go back and watch the episodes you missed? The reviews are out of date, sure, but I think the conversations we have with those sleepyhead theater people are still interesting, and we try and inject a little fun into the episodes when we can. Whether you celebrate Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, Christmas, Festivus, or Life Day, I hope it's a happy one. So, until next year, as Carol Jackson exclaimed before planting a wet, sloppy one on me last New Year's Eve, go see a show!
'Cause it's all over but the shouting. Every soul needs light, but mine's been wasting away in the afternoon shade, out of sight. And I am not the pure and perfect one, but my branches are still bent toward the sun.